Stop. What I'm about to tell you will change everything. It's finally time for you to know the truth. The world that we live in has all been a lie. The screen that you look upon, your surroundings, your body, none of this is real. It's time for you to wake up. Wake up. There's something going on here. Something large. Incomprehensibly large. Something terrifying. This is not science fiction. This is not fantasy. This is happening right now. When nighttime comes, deep horrors creep into my mind. They keep me awake in dread of the unimaginable terrors that I'll never be able to understand. In the daytime, I'm occupied and distracted by the flow of life. I have work to finish and people to meet. I'm temporarily distracted from the existential dread that lurks behind our existence. But when the sun goes down, the thoughts return to me. There's something going on here. Something we can't see, or hear, or touch, or understand, but it's something that controls our entire reality. I want you to think about this. You exist inside a physical world, and you experience the world through your vision, your hearing, or your touch. But how do you know that this world even exists? You only know about this physical world because you experience it through your senses. But is that really enough information to trust that this physical world exists? No, it's not. It's very likely that this physical world doesn't exist at all. Or at the very least, it's something completely different than what you think it is. Don't believe me? Let me explain it a different way. But let me warn you, what I'm about to tell you will change the way you see the world forever. Hold up your hand in front of your face. Yes, actually do it. Now, with your hand up in front of your eyes, ask yourself this question. Does my hand exist? The answer should be obvious. Yes, your hand does exist. And the reason you know this is because you can clearly see your hand, and you can feel it too. Now I want you to close your eyes. Don't open them until I say so. Does your hand still exist? Your answer still should be yes. But how do you know this? You can't see your hand. How do you know your hand still exists? The reason you know your hand still exists is because the idea of your hand is still in your head. By idea, I mean something that exists solely within your brain. You can open your eyes now. Even if you can't see your physical hand, you know for certain that you have a hand, because the idea of your hand is deeply ingrained into your brain. Now consider this. The idea of your hand and your physical hand itself are two completely separate entities. Even when you can't see your physical hand, the idea of your hand still remains in your brain. This means that your idea of your hand can exist separately than your real physical hand. Let me say that again. Your idea of your hand can exist separately than your real physical hand. Now, here's the question. When you look at your hand, are you seeing your real physical hand? Or are you seeing the idea of your hand? When you look at your hand, your retina in your eye is receiving light information coming from your hand and everything else behind it. That light information goes from your retina to your optic nerve, which then travels to your visual cortex in your brain, where the information is processed. This is what allows you to form an image in your head of what your hand looks like. In simple words, using the light information, your brain is forming an idea of what your hand is. Think about that. Your brain forms an idea of what your hand is by using the light received by your eyes. So when you look at your hand, you are only experiencing the idea of your hand. You're experiencing something that exists only within your brain. You are not actually experiencing your real physical hand. And this doesn't only apply to vision. The sounds you hear, the scents you smell, the foods you taste, and the objects you touch are all ideas which exist entirely within your brain. This is not an apple. This is your idea of an apple. This is not a horse. This is your idea of a horse. This is not the sound of an ocean. This is your idea of what an ocean sounds like. You don't know what an apple or a horse or an ocean even are. You only have mere ideas of these things. It's similar to the concept of colors. Colors are only an illusion that exists in our head, based on the way we interpret the world. The red that you see might be completely different from the red I see. Colors don't actually exist outside of our brains, so it's not possible for us to all see the same color. And it could be that the world we experience through our senses only exists in our heads as well. Now this isn't certain, but it is absolutely certain that our experience of the world does not reflect the physical world. We have no idea what the physical world is like or how it works. We only have ideas of it. This information changes everything. What if the world doesn't exist? What if nothing exists? What if everything we experience is all in our heads? These are all real and legitimate questions posed by solipsism, a philosophical idea that only your mind is certain to exist, and the external world might not exist. If everything you experience is only a mere idea existing in your brain, then it could be possible that the entire universe might just exist as an idea in your brain as well. It could be possible that none of this is real. The people in your life aren't real. The world that surrounds you is not real. All of this is just an idea in your head. You live in an isolated, lonely reality in which you're the only one who is conscious, and everyone else is just an NPC. And what's so terrifying about this is that there's no way of proving it wrong. There's no way of proving that the physical world actually exists. There's no way of proving that the people around you are all conscious and experiencing the world the same way you are. Now, this doesn't mean that it's absolutely guaranteed that the physical world doesn't exist and everything is an illusion. But the possibility is scary. It can be unclear what truly exists and what only exists in our heads. But one thing's certain, the world that we perceive is not the same as the world that exists outside of our heads. So, with that being said, what's next? What do we do with this information? There's something going on here. I don't know how to explain it. I wish I could. The world isn't as we know it. We aren't getting the full picture here. Nobody is. We only perceive a fraction of what the world truly is. We can't see or comprehend the external world, and we're only stuck with our own limited interpretation of it. There's a hidden layer to all of this. Things are happening behind the curtains, things that we don't realize. Why are we here? Why was the universe created? What happens after we die? All these secrets are locked away, underneath layers and layers of reality. These are secrets that we'll never know. But what we do know is that there are answers to everything, even if we'll never reach them. If you pay attention to the world, you'll notice the complexity behind everything. Not just behind society and humanity, but the whole universe. Nature and the universe all operate in a very specific and calculated way. Everything operates in systems. A system is a large group of components, working together as one. These systems are interconnected and build upon each other. At the foundation of the universe are the largest systems. Systems like space and time, gravity, and quantum mechanics. And on top of the foundational system, more systems are stacked upon it, such as energy conversion, temperature, and entropy. The higher up this tower of systems, the smaller and smaller the systems get. As we get higher, we get systems like the water cycle, natural selection, or the trophic levels. And even higher up, we get systems like digestion, respiration, or society. All of these systems are interconnected and affect each other in one way or another. Each system is governed by the larger system underneath, and each system governs the smaller system above it. It's an endless structure that infinitely breaks into smaller and smaller systems. All these systems operate together within one large system, which is the universe. It's one large, intricate system that governs itself and sustains a consistent progression. None of this can be random. Such an infinitely complex system does not merely just exist on its own. There's something going on here. We didn't just randomly pop out of nowhere after billions of years of evolution and trillions of years of astronomical formations and energy conversion. If that were the case, then why is there such a structured and calculated system driving the universe forward? Why does every system operating within the universe have a defined purpose within the larger picture? Every system works with each other to progress the universe in some sort of way, big or small. We may not understand what's happening. We may never get any answers. But the facts remain. There is undoubtedly something going on here. And though we may never find an answer to this, that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. In fact, we've been trying to uncover this mystery ever since the beginning of mankind. The worship of gods is a practice almost as old as humanity itself, and at the root of every religion is an attempt to understand the greater powers at work in the universe. Throughout the course of mankind, thousands if not millions of theories have been formed regarding the secrets behind the universe. All of them are flawed and don't accurately depict reality. Every religion requires a blind leap of faith, without any legitimate evidence. The debate over whether a god exists or not does contain a lot of insight and logical reasoning, but the argument to prove one individual religion does not. There are many legitimate reasons for why a god exists, but there are not any legitimate reasons that prove certain religious principles, like Jesus is God, or Judgment Day, or karma and nirvana. These beliefs are called religious beliefs for a reason. They aren't meant to actually provide realistic answers to existential questions. They are only meant to bring people together and create a moral construct. Religion doesn't provide any answers to uncover the truths of the universe. But with each theory and each discovery in science, mathematics, and philosophy, we are getting closer to an answer. An answer that we might never attain, but still we're getting closer nonetheless. Science helps explain the rules of the universe and how universal and natural processes work. Mathematics works in conjunction with science. to identify the formulas and algorithms and rates of which the universe operates by. Philosophy helps explain the abstract natures of the universe and the nature of reality itself. It's very common for people to tell you to not think about these things. People will say that questioning the universe and our existence is pointless, since we will never reach an answer, and that these questions might turn us depressed and nihilistic. But neither of these claims are true. The truth is that a lot of people are scared of the unknown. People hate the feeling of not being able to explain what is going on around them. So as a result, many people turn to religion for reassurance and a false confidence, or they just choose to never think about philosophical ideas at all. I think this leads to many missed opportunities. Yes, it's true that we may never reach a clear, all-encompassing answer, but that doesn't mean we can't get a better understanding. We have been questioning the universe ever since the beginning of humanity, and look how far we've come. Through discoveries from science and physics and technology, we've learned so much about the rules which the universe operates upon, and the nature of reality itself. To believe that asking existential questions won't get us anywhere is nonsensical. Yes, it is true that the unknown can be intimidating, but to ignore questions like our existence or the universe is like to ignore the very ground that you stand upon. There is no question more meaningful and significant than that of the universe. Although it can be a confusing and intimidating question, it is our duty as an intelligent species to question what brought us here. It is in our very human nature to question everything. When we see a natural phenomenon occurring, we ask the question, why is this occurring? Well, what larger natural phenomenon is there than the very existence of the universe? There's something going on here. Something large. Incomprehensibly large. But it doesn't have to be terrifying. If we take one step at a time, we can eventually piece together the information and get a better picture of what's going on behind the curtains. We might even be able to find a few clear, solid answers. So never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for an answer. Think for yourself, and don't let the preachings of other people stop you from forming your own beliefs. There's a bigger world out there. It's time to wake up.